And we are back. So excellent. Uh, so generative AI is the game changer, and I'm here to show how it works. This is especially for the executives out there. What you will see today will make your socks turn around. And I will not only talk about, I will make it run. I will show how tomorrow we do software. And this picture is of course created by me because we have these new talents. We can do all this fancy creative stuff. I have had the honor to have give presentations in many places, also in the prison. So to celebrate that moment that I was able to gain entrance without having to do something like of a sort of a crime, I generated something that would make that the audience in the prison would be still enjoying my presentation. This is what the AI was thinking. So my talk is about generative AI and many applications of it. My focus will be on what is the most trendy thing right now. That is the only thing we are like really looking forward in the big time, and this is AI agents when they work autonomously. But now let me surprise us, and because we have all these new powers and wonders, and I have been invited in this very wonderful digital product management week, I decided to make a song to celebrate that. Let me play the song, a tiny bit of it, and then you can get the link later. So digital product management week, yeah, we on the grind. Ain't got the bird sweet and 10 to 14 you'll find. Innovate, collaborate, elevate is the time. Free registration, join, let's shine. SBM Summit, Europe 2024. Software center reporting, we bring more. International conference, we set the score. Startups and products, knocking on the door. Digital product management week, yeah, we on the grind. Ain't got the merge, sweet in June 10 to the 14 you'll find. Iterate, collaborate, elevate is the time. Free registration, join, let's... That is my present to you, Jan. Now that we have these skills, anybody, I mean, encourage you, go to suno.com. I'm not a salesperson per se, but come on. Suno is the ChatGPT for music. It does the lyrics, it does the thing, and I told it to be a catchy rap song because I like catchy rap. Yesterday I played something called Country, everyone was sleeping here, so I think that I have to do better here. So when I said that I'm really excited about the generative AI because I think it's a game changer, I gave a presentation or training to researchers. So what a researcher can do, and I don't give a presentation about the generative AI, I show what you can do with the best tool out there, ChatGPT, and what you can do in 1 hour, not like 2 weeks or 2 months. So we start off by generating a complete grant application, which we do all the time. But because we have used only 6 minutes of the hour, we will continue to review your scientific paper. And then, as we in the most productive feeling of the world, I can generate synthetic data, 100,000 rows right there, right now. And I can analyze that. When I'm done with my analysis, I also go with the qualitative data. And now that I got my results, I can write the tech blog. And I can do all kinds of postings, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of that, which we scientists, we always forget that we don't do. And finally, I do the presentation. And then I'm like, okay, what do I do next? So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying, because we said that the researchers' work is so hard, you cannot really have AI doing something there because it's so creative and that. I am here to challenge that, and I'm here to challenge also the industry. We haven't seen anything yet. We are now about to start to see. And also the fact is that what all of you should be right now doing, you should be fine-tuning your open source models that is on your data. So you want to get access to that data. You want to do what we have been telling that the AI will do. And it has been one thing, that we actually have to benefit from the data in a new way. And what generative AI brought to our table was the user interface. that we can actually talk to the AI. Before, it has been, there's a serious looking person who calls him or herself data scientist, spends weeks and telling that your data is crap, not crap, that's I withdraw crap and I insert data is somewhat defective. And that's what we always find out. It takes a huge amount of time to actually get that data sorted out. With generative AI, it speaks and talks like a person. It has the capabilities. And that's what we should use. But for some reason, it impacts everything we do. Somehow we have this dystopian feeling, however. You read this in the newspapers and magazines that AI will come and conquer us or somehow take over of the things. Pekka said that the researchers are going to be challenged, the industry is going to be challenged. So will it be like that? Well, I know for certain that it will not be like that, but we can do things that are, let's say, questionable. And for example, here we have a tiny demo about the spreading of misinformation. So using these agents, we can create from 1 to 1,000 trolls that start spreading some text. And here's an example about the US elections. And you can see that the real looking text is coming out. We can decide which channels this text go and what happens. And that is the misuse of this technology. We should be aware of that, but there's no dystopian future still coming. And I think these AIs more like this, that if you think that they will take your job or something like that will happen, when you go into your kitchen in the morning and you look at that toaster that is there, that is as much emotional capability and intelligence as these AIs have as your toaster in the kitchen. So whenever you have a feeling that it's going to do something the weird, think about the toaster and maybe a little feet under it so it goes really fast. But that's the maximum that can happen right now with the modern, the current architecture that we have. So the awareness capabilities and those are not coming. Like Jan said, I have had the honor to work in different universities. So I have been a full professor in 6 universities, also in Italy and in Norway. And now I came back to Finland 2017, and I started in my new position at Tampere University in the start of 23, and there I run the Applied AI Research Center, AI Hub, and recently established the GPT laboratory that also is in PTH Sweden, besides Finland, where we do large language models applications in the field of software engineering. And so we recently published a research agenda of how what are the research gaps out there, and this came out from IEEE Access just recently. And then just a couple of days ago, we published a book by Springer on the how generative AI affects software engineering. So it's an edited book. And now if I would have all the day with you, I would actually show that how these agents will do these things that were supposed to be only for human. And then you will also see what are the challenges there are. So yes, you take a picture of that, you follow that link, it does the paper review, it does it. And if you're not expert on paper review, it will look like magnificent review. But if you're an expert, you will see that, it's a bit generic. Maybe this applies to all the reviews in the world. So you start seeing that maybe it is not as wonderful the outcome. So generative AI benefits the most those who are super good. If you're not super good, it still benefits you because you are learning. So you can use it as your mentor and help you to do many things. But if you are super good, you immediately see what are you getting, if this is something you want, or if it's something that doesn't meet your expectations. But because these tools are out there these days, in the scientific field, there's a big trouble. So Elsevier has had papers that are completely written with generative AI, and the simplest way to test if you receive a text, whether that text has written by AI, so search for a word delve, So if there are any delves in it, it's written by ChatGPT. Sorry, we just don't use delve in we don't delve into anything, although we could. And so there are these combinations that you can actually not only, but that's another thing. So Elsevier and companies equally are now coming up with policies on how to deal with this. Can we put the data in? What do we do? Elsevier decided that you cannot use it for anything. So you cannot upload any data to ChatGPT or any other generative AI tool because there's a chance of risking a copyright. So we used to do language checking, we used to do grammar checking like real, and now that is also out of the window. And that is something that is not good. So for those kind of policies, it just doesn't make any sense. There is no way that we should forbid this. But as excited am I here, and I said we have just started, I really mean we started yesterday. Nothing has happened yet. So if your company hasn't adopted these tools yet, you're okay. You're like everybody else. We're all learning at this moment. And there's so many things coming out, new technologies. And that general artificial intelligence, the body-like artificial intelligence that the open AI company is doing is years ahead. So it's not going to be here tomorrow. But where are we? I have this photograph that comes from many years ago in Finland, but resembles what we do in the offices now these days. This is called, this is Excel. This is Pekka in his emails, which I receive, by the way, so many that I don't know where they come. So our digitalization gave these tools that just eat all our time. I'm inserting hours in this system called Soletm. Sorry, Soletm people. It takes me 2 to 3 hours a month. For me, that I could do it with this, like, what about doing a prompt? Insert Pekka's hours. Check from the calendar what he has been doing lately. And have Pekka check the hours. And then that's it. That one line would do all of that. And then in 2 minutes I would be done. Why don't we have systems like that? That's where we should be heading, and not thinking that jobs are going to be taken away. Because it doesn't help that me and Jan will get a longer saw, and then we will do faster work. And that's the technological mindset where we are. We need to be released from that mindset. That's why the generative AI came 2016. Was the seminal paper, Attention is All You Need, and that was the game changer in making those language models work. The big tech was the solution to get power, to get a computation power behind. And the first model, GPT-1, cost to train $700. You know how much this new model cost to train? $1.5 billion. Little bit of change, but there is a change in the capability as well. GPT-2 was launched 2019. It was like complete English sentence, grammatically correct. Oh, that's a joke. I don't laugh, but I see that's a punchline. And we were like, oh, keep developing it. It's going to be wonderful. And so it was like a 5-year-old child, we can imagine. So then came GPT-3, and when that was fine-tuned so that people actually can use it in November of 2022, it was published, ChatGPT, GPT 3.5. We wonder, that is the free version that you typically have, although there are newer ones available. That is like your high school kid with the capability. Very eager to do stuff. Yes, I will handle it. I'm going to do it. Oh, just I didn't have time, sorry. So it happens, it hallucinates, but it's eager. So you remember that when you use the free version. With the paid version, GPT-4 that came out March 23, it knows the contents of 10,000 professions, including the one of professor. It can take easily 80% of my work. And it performs it better than an average professor does. I don't know if you know, but I receive emails like, Pekka, where is the lecture? From a student. And then I'm so kind, I answer like, oh, it is in D111.2. Didn't you look at the syllabus? So those and many other tasks that we do actually don't require that much intelligence. And that's in every job. So ChatGPT has read all of the job descriptions and knows how to better execute than an average person can. And that is, if one thinks that should I get a paid version, of course. It's a no-brainer. If you, okay, let me go forward. One thing that came by surprise was that these were not planned. So we didn't know what exactly this language model can do other than predict the next word in a very high probability that it makes complete sense in English language and in other languages as well. And the future will hold long horizon planning, and these are now coming. The reason is this. OpenAI has been a very smart company. They released this free version in November 2022, and in 6 weeks, 100 million people are using it, and still tens of millions around the world all the time use it. So when we use it, we give them use cases. So we are showing every single way you can interact with the machine. And as an outcome, the new model, now if I would be smart, I would only focus on satisfying all those expectations, including these that are not even possible yet. And if you want to see how that works in practice, where does the word come from? So here's a small bit of a video that shows how language model generates the words. And you can see it's not like, so often the next probable word is high probability. So it's not like it's 2020, 2020, but rather it's 99 and 1 and then many zeros. So you can see from that tiny extract that that's how it actually goes about doing it. Now I will say only one thing about this is that yes, the challenge that we have is that because it generates language and it has the intelligence level of a toaster. So, and it doesn't think, it doesn't have an opinion, it doesn't have an agenda that it wants to execute. So it is gullible, it is not reliable per se. So whatever you get, you have to verify that it works. And that comes now the challenge when we go into coding environment. And I will show you how you generate huge amounts of code with that how can you trust that code? That is the issue that we are dealing with right now. Although the system runs, can we trust it? And also it's leaning, so there's an alignment problem. That if you prompt in a way that I am pretty, am I? Well, yes, you are sort of in your own way. And so it always leans towards whatever is being suggested. And that's a challenge because by just formulating slightly differently, you will get a different answer. And you can, as a user, because I want all you to use these tools so you become a better professional yourself, especially if you're higher up in the ladder in the organization. So the thing is that you can handle somewhat with prompting. And that is the only way you as a user can actually manage this. So be smart about that. There are these, somehow when we start interacting with this, is that we don't know really what to do. So we make really tiny suggestions. And we know that the more details you provide, the better is the outcome. So here's an example of give me project tips. All right, you will get something, but is it going to be relevant for you? Probably not. So the more you give, the more you get. That's the basic rule. There are so many rules out there that I'm not going to go do these, but internet is full of this kind of prompt frameworks, which for me have lost their kind of amazingness in the way that prompt is actually it's a conversation, it's a discussion. It's not about single prompt, it's about the process of doing something, and at the end you get something out, and this make it you started in a way. The use cases that originally came with ChatGPT, and I'm referring to ChatGPT often because it's the best in its class. So there's no, all the others are falling behind, and they are trying to catch up still. And that's the catch-up game that's going on. But it's a very good use case because it is well-known and approachable. So all of this you can do with it, and these are the basic use cases. But then I started thinking like, okay, what does a product manager or project manager, what could they do with the ChatGPT alone? And then you have so many things: planning the project, team training, onboarding, problem-solving advice, brainstorming, communication, all of that. But then I'm thinking like, are there more use cases? Here's 50 use cases. We just go on and on. Okay, I could do 100 use cases. And then like, wow, you are being innovative. But that's the point here, is that you can do so many things with your new assistant that you can automate to be an agent. But now let's go to the juicy bit. So how can we demonstrate what can an AI agent do? So let's run something that the software folks love. So let's hire some agents to develop software for us. And I will run the demo now, and I will explain what you will see when I find the button on how I can start it. Maybe I just press it.
Introducing GPT Lab, the newest research laboratory at the forefront of artificial intelligence and natural language processing. At GPT Lab, our team of dedicated scientists and engineers are pushing the boundaries of language AI.
All right, so here we are hiring 8 agents, and we give them the task, a goal, not a task, a goal, and we expect them to deliver something in 5 minutes. So here we have 4 development team members and 4 quality assurance team members, and we give them the process model. So process model could be DevOps, but it's a bit messy. Waterfall is cooler because we understand what actually happens. So we start with the specs, which is do a snake game. All Nokia fans love snake games. And at the end, we should have a running product. This is me starting the system, and I'm giving the goal of what should be done. I could give several pages of requirements document as well. But here's the goal: do a snake game. Here we see a requirement engineering doing its work. So doing the requirements, fleshing out the functional, non-functional constraints, assumptions. And here we have a quality assurance engineer going through the nitty-bitty details that are in the requirements that you're always missing, and providing feedback. And here we already see the requirements is updating all those comments that were made. And so here we have an updated version. You see the green toaster coming soon, and that is a system designer focusing on more like architecture issues, components, interfaces, design constraints we should be actually looking into. And after that, a quality assurance engineer will go through that design documentation, and it will fix it and provides an update right here. So you have a traceability that unseen in the humankind, because we humans don't do this type of traceability, even if we are getting paid for it. The red toaster here is a tester. So writes the test cases, test plans, so the coder knows against which the system would be tested out. And because it doesn't come out perfectly the first time, so quality review will be done. We could do several rounds of quality reviews. It's just causing energy, so it doesn't really take time, but it's just causing a bit of energy. And you will typically you will find something to fix. And here we have the coder finally reading all the stuff that has been done before. Will do the system for us from start to end, and there would be 2 review rounds because code needs to be checked because it needs to run. That's the thing. Okay, you see this, and the executives have only one question. Pekka, does it scale? Because if this scales beyond snake game, that's a revolution right there. We haven't seen that, and I say yes, it scales. We have published a code-body platform. We don't know how far it scales. We haven't found the limit yet, because with the modularization you can do big systems, but the problem is this: you don't trust the system. So it scales, but it scales in an untrusted way. So I've been working with Microsoft Copilot people, and they see this, say, we love it. But we will not put it in the Copilot, because it will not be a coder, a developer doesn't want to review thousands of lines of code, because it's not possible. All the documentation arriving at your table right now. So that is not in our workflow. We need to have smaller chunks that we can verify. And today we need to verify this code, because it might, and there's a bit of a stupid example maybe, but bear with me. So it might write this Python code, but it looks like a C code, if you know C, so procedural language. And then you are like, but Python's not procedural. I mean, why you do that? Well, of course, it doesn't have an opinion. So for some reason, it may be doing something that is not from this world. But this is Pekka. I am now copy-pasting, so professor-level activities. I am copy-pasting the code and putting it into my coding environment, and I will paste it, and I will save it, and I will run it. And then you will see me playing Snake game after 20 years, and it actually proves to be quite complicated game. I didn't know that it's actually I didn't remember it was that, but anyway, you will see it now. And it's video, so it always works. So here we go. And this green thing, I should hit find that one with that blue, that thing that I don't. But I try again, and okay, I stopped doing that. I'm better in other things. So scalability issue solved. We can scale. We have to solve the trust issue. That is the biggest thing that we are now dealing with. And the tech is developing as well as we speak. So now we might be fixing stuff in a way that actually gets fixed somehow by the big giants and their tech teams. But agents are there. They can do any human-related task. Anything that we humans say we do, you can make sarcastic Swedish jokes. I mean, can you imagine how that could look like? But you know, it can be done. So we have these ways by making agents do structured conversations. We have these techniques we can use, and we are using them in the system, and we are making open source models compete against each other. So we don't use the biggest models. They are expensive, and you don't need the system to do both Shakespeare sonnets and code. You just need the one or the other. So we are leaning towards 7 billion models, even 1 billion models for certain tasks, and that's the way to go. That is energy efficient, smart, and that has to be run. And it is slightly more complicated, it's the trustworthy thing. And here's a paper from the TikTok people, and the paper is dealing with what is trustworthy large language models made of. And it deals with the robustness about the misuse, social norm, fairness, reliability, explainability. These are important concepts, and all of them need to be considered. I have another example I will show you today. It requires me to put the glasses on because I do some coding, but here we go with the, so as a product manager, you will have those user stories, and you will have those epics, and you have to deal with them with your teams, decide what goes next, what will be the big hit we need to put in our product. So how can we put the agents? So first, we will need some sort of requirements of sort, and here is from implementing this system for you to read your own data, your Slack data. So this is a RAG-based system that actually goes and finds the accurate information. You can use this natural language, and you can ask whether we had this problem, somebody raised this up ever before, and it will find the answer. So here's a use cases and user stories for that. And I will now go here, and I will launch the server. Yes. So I have the system here running, and the server has been started, so we don't have to spend more time there. And then I can go back to cha-cha-cha, and I skip cha-cha this time. let's see. And then I have, so this is the multi-agent model. So we have made the user interface so it's a bit easier to understand how it works, and you can see how the agents are having a dialogue between each other. So there's no direct human involvement. And the reason we are not having human involvement here is so that, where's my, here, is that we want to push these limits, boundaries to see what you can actually do with the agents. In real life, we want to have user involvement, and this is an important element to understand. So I uploaded these requirements. There are 35 of them. Here, as a manager, I want real-time updates from Slack data. As a data analyst, blah, blah, blah. You have the epics and you have the user stories here. So here we can decide which model we use. We should have all the models here, but now we have just the paid ones. We use Turbo because it's faster and it's cheaper because it's my credit card behind it. So let's see. Then we can select which prioritization technique we will use. Let's use the Moscow because everybody knows that. So you are dividing the requirements with the must have, should have, could have, and won't have. So then I will just start to work, and it will.
Agents chatting about Moscow in process.
All right, a little bit cool vibe there. And this is the product owner now started. Product managers are started to explain what the task that they are supposed to do is all about. And here we have the developer who is actually then responding to this and starting to work. It's magic. I'm trying to use the pronoun it to make sure that we are not mixing this to humans. And in the middle, you have the quality assurance thingy that will actually take up this discussion a little while. Here we go. And it's starting to draw this kind of understanding that they are coming, which is the priority, what should we implement, what should we leave out. And we don't have complete, one thing that is lacking here a little bit is that we don't have the justification very nicely laid out. So we as humans, we want to see justifications like why this is must have and why this is only should have. That's an important element to understand. But think about this as you're a product owner, you need this sorts of kind of input into your process. So this, what comes out might actually provide you abilities that you didn't have in your team. So here is the output, the list, what should be done, and we can even copy the whole thing, and we can put it in our further system where we can take the next steps. So you can do this right now, right today. This is not tomorrow, this is yesterday. Tomorrow is going to be better. My final demo today will be interesting because it will involve a person from this room, and it's a task what everybody should be doing. So I was here yesterday listening to presentations by experts, and one of them was this great researcher, Helena Holmström. And Helena was presenting this model and the work that they have done with Jan Bosch on optimal release frequency for any component, or any, so not like specific, but just any component in the world, independent of the technology, is defined by the value generated for the company and the cost realizing the new version of component. And they have also made a formula. And now, when I say that we should use these technologies for us, so we have to take the AI now and use it. So we have to train the AI with this information, and we have to put the formula in action. So that's what I did last night. When somebody was asking why I was not drinking beers, I was doing this. Meet AI Helena. Even Helena likes. So you take a snapshot of that. You can use this formula to determine the next release whenever you want if you follow that address. And I will go here now, and I will show you how it works. And it's completely free. If you haven't used ChatGPT, you have to sign up, but this is free. Everybody can use it. I just have a bit, let me find it. Where's AI? There we have. So here we have it. Let's, All right. Let me ask. So AI Helena, an assistant for determining the optimal release frequency for software components. I can write here that let me ask, what can I do with you? Maybe we can go for a coffee. No, sorry. And it tells what it does, what is the information it needs, and this is based on that picture that you saw. I didn't do any text. I just took the picture. I uploaded the picture here when I was doing the agent, and I say, follow these instructions and be kind and help people to determine when to release. And you can see here, and now we have all this text and stuff, explain the formula components, guide you to apply formula, practical advice. I would say this is better than 70% of us. Let me do something that you might want to do. Show me an example on how the formula works and use real sounding numbers. This is a very specific scientific term. Yes, so it will do that. So all of that. So these are realistic numbers. We'll input these values into Excel. So actually it pushes it to Excel as well. So you can continue working there, but it gives you value generated, all the numbers, Excel setup, and formulas that you can do in these different cells. And I don't want to go to Excel. So why does it, I mean, it's some Microsoft deal here. But here it goes, an example Excel layout. Maybe I said in the instruction that something about Excel because many people love Excel. I don't know. And then it says that since it's greater than $6 per instance, the release frequency is considered optimal. That's the outcome. Now we could go back and check the actual numbers. And now this formula that she presented in the slide, which people like, wow, big formula. But now this big formula comes live. We can even ask critique, like let's ask critique. All right, so explain me. What are the problems? The problems with the formula. Okay. All right, so here is the problem list. Yes, absolutely. You can use but you have to go back and check whether this stuff is actually something that would work. And are these relevant, these problems? Are the people who designed the formula, but it's also us puts in the game that is actually we can tweak this to our company needs by asking that we are this sort of company and we don't like that, but we like to have this. So suddenly you can build your own, maybe even better version of the model just by using the AI Helena. That's how it is. And now, ladies and gentlemen, my time is pretty much up. I will show like two things, and one thing only maybe. So I don't show this. I don't show that. I will just say one thing. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are the target audience to learn this. We always say somebody else should learn this. Somebody else should do. Those who have time. But this is the time saver. This will, think about your emails that are sitting in your inbox every day. This is how it works. You come and you sit on your office. You have 50 emails in your draft folder. They are ready emails to go. You should check them and press. In 9:30 in the morning, you're done with your emails. You just save the whole day. And here, the challenge is bit. This is just a bunch of tools. There are many more. This is like a nothing. There's much bigger the list. But we have done something to help you. So there's a report written by us. We reviewed 85 of these tools. And you can also chat with Pekka agent there. Choose your AI tool. So you can ask that I'm doing this, I'm working in this company, I want to do that. So it will show, from the list of 85, what could be working for you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Awesome. I know we're late already, but any questions to Pekka? Because I don't want to let him go without interacting a little bit with the audience. You all look a little stunned, I must say. Any questions? Anna, there you go. We're streaming live for those of you that don't know it, so we have to use the microphone.
Of course. Thank you, Pekka. Really cool. One question about software engineering, and then you presented for us the V model. And we have kind of not left the V model, but the V model has been very difficult because of all the handovers, and we haven't been able to manage them. What I see you doing now is turning back to the V model because we can actually handle all the handovers with help of the agents. Is that the way we should think, or have I misinterpreted what you did for us?
We can think like that. So whether we actually can use these models we can do any model. When we are actually seeing it, yes, you can unhook it, yeah. So I would say that we're making them behave like human-like for a reason that humans need to understand what's going on. We could ask them to develop their own optimized language because they could speak in a way that we don't need to maybe understand what is being said, but we do. And we also, I think that what you said is that when humans are having challenges with these handovers, so are the machines. So if you look very carefully, the requirements and the review and the update requirement, it didn't do all of them. He said, thank you, I'm now doing all of the fixes. And then you look at where are all the fixes? So it's a bit like human in that sense. And it's an unwanted way of being human because we don't want to have a machine that behaves like human. We want machine to behave in a predictable way. So in that sense, you may be completely right, but I have a bit of trust issue here.
Very good. One more final question from anyone? I thought a hand shall go up. No? With that, then we end this part. Pekka, thank you once again very, very much. Wonderful presentation.